Hi guys, Nada here, and today I'm going to talk about this monitor next to me. This is the ASUS ROG XG32VQR. Their almost new monitor that is actually a successor of the XG32VQ without the R. And the difference between these two is that this one actually has HDR. Now, as the name suggests, this is a 32-inch monitor that is Quad HD. It has a VA panel, it's a curved panel as well. It has 144 Hz refresh rate. It has FreeSync 2 technology, and as I said, it has HDR. So let's put it to the test, see how it actually performs, and talk about my experiences with it in gaming and doing some creative work because I've used it for the last few weeks. And more importantly, let's see if it's worth the 570 euros it costs here in Europe. Let's go. This video is brought to you by the Cooler Master Masterbox NR400, a quality micro ATX case that offers great performance and a sleek design at a very decent price. Get yours using the links in the description below. As usual with ASUS ROG monitors, this one doesn't shy away from being noticeable. It has plenty of ROG specific details on the back, as well as the usual RGB, and there is a red ROG underglow, both of which can be turned off if it's not your thing. Now also, as anyone expects from ASUS, the construction and the metal stand do an excellent job at keeping the screen very steady. It is height adjustable, it tilts, it swivels, and overall, it's just really well built like most ROG monitors. On the back we find one display port, two HDMI ports, a USB hub, and an audio pass-through. Now keep in mind, this monitor does not come with built-in speakers. At 32-inch, this Quad HD monitor has a pixel density of 92, which is the same as a 24-inch monitor would have with full HD resolution. Now, for most people, that would be completely enough for day-to-day work, but if you are a creative professional, you should look into something that has more pixels and a higher pixel density. Still, I don't think 4K would have been a better choice for this gaming screen, as it means you will need a much more expensive GPU to play on it properly with 144 Hz refresh rate, and also it would make this screen much more expensive. I do think the 27-inch remains the sweet spot for most all-around gamers, as larger screens do bring some concerns when it comes to competitive games. Some screen elements like maps can be very far off center and causing you to lose focus. Now, if we look at our slow motion capture compared to some 144 Hz TN or IPS options, we do see these larger VA displays a few milliseconds behind. Again, it is still fast, it is still smooth, and not really meant for competitive stuff anyways, but is worth mentioning. On the other hand, if you're not into competitive gaming, I do think a larger screen adds to the immersion. Any game telling you a very good story really benefits here. So it's obviously a gaming panel due to the higher than average speed, but it's primarily aimed at people playing single-player games or similar immersion games. Now looking at our test results, it is a decent performer as well. Contrast is great as expected from VA panels, but the default gamma is good too. The default white balance is actually good, and the gray balance, which some VA panels struggle with, is also solid. Color reproduction is quite decent, red and greens are slightly oversaturated and blues just not saturated enough, but overall still a decent factory calibration you can consider for some casual content creation. Now, there is an sRGB mode as well, but unfortunately that really kills the contrast and doesn't give us any better color accuracy than the default racing mode, meaning you do want to calibrate it if perfect sRGB reproduction is what you're looking for. Gamut covers the entire sRGB spectrum, so perfect calibration is definitely possible. A traditional weakness of these larger 32-inch curved VA panels is the uniformity, and the XG32VQR is no exception. It is okay, but we generally see better uniformity results in most IPS gaming monitors, for example. Peak sustained brightness is exceptionally good, with almost 600 nits actually, which is a lot better than the HDR 400 certification would make you expect. Compared to the similarly spec'd BenQ EX3203R, it is very noticeable that ASUS goes a lot brighter. The flip side of that is that this screen doesn't really dim all that well, with a minimum white level of around 132 nits, and that is quite high. anyone who is used to really dimming the screen in a dark room will want to look elsewhere. The viewing angles are actually quite good. They're not the same level as an IPS monitor has, but very good for a VA panel. And there was no noticeable backlight bleed whatsoever. For those of you with an NVIDIA graphics card, when testing this monitor for G-Sync compatibility, it was doing really well. In all the games I've tested so far, there was no problems, even with HDR turned on. So the main question is whether HDR is worth it. So the HDR is supposed to have extreme brightness, extreme contrast, and extreme range and depth of color. And none of these monitors in this price range does that particularly well. So the only thing that sets this monitor apart is that it has higher peak brightness. So the HDR experience with this monitor is going to completely depend on what do you expect from it and what game are you playing, how much do you experiment within games. So personally, I do think it's good to have it and then either use it or not depending on the game. But just don't expect those OLED wow levels of HDR, and don't buy this monitor just because it has HDR. So why should you buy this monitor over, for example, the BenQ that I have right here that has similar specs? So this is the EX32V3R. And this one, ASUS, is actually overall a bit better, but it also costs 100 euros more. For that, you do get some of the features that are specific for ROG that BenQ doesn't have. So for example, you get a great OSD control combined with a joystick and a few buttons. You have a ton of options to choose from to customize your screen. You even have a lot of gaming features like crosshairs and shadow boosts, and all these little features that might make you decide to spend a bit more for a better screen. But at the price point of 600 euros, there is so many monitors to choose from. You can get similar specs like the ASUS monitor has for even 200 euros less, and at 600 euros you can even get a 27-inch fast gaming monitor that has an IPS panel, or even look at some Quad HD ultra-wide options. So even though this is objectively a very, very good screen, it is in a very difficult spot on the market. Now, if you are looking for a 32-inch curved VA panel that has a lot of gaming features, then this one is definitely something you can look into, but do check all the alternatives before you make your decision. Now, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this monitor and about this review. Don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up. Yeah. See you in the next one. Bye!